Just in case you're wondering if I ever drink anything other than coffee. Evidence. Hi friends. At the time of recording this, I still haven't finished editing and uploading the last video I recorded, which better already be up, and if you haven't seen it yet, I will link it up here. I'm spending every moment of my life that I'm not at work or asleep or recording voiceover auditions, editing furiously. So I apologize that it has taken so long to get to you, but trust me, we're not slacking over here at Madelaide Production Studios. We're just a one-person operation. And for those of you who watched all the way through and made it to the end, thank you. I know it was a much longer form video than what I have normally been cranking out these days, but you know, once in a while it is really nice to just have a good old-fashioned sit-down makeup fiesta. A very chill, relaxed makeup fiesta. But today we are back on my bullshit, and we're just gonna focus on a palette today, because I've got so many of them to get through, which is a good problem to have, trust me. I know it's kind of a non-issue, but honestly at this point it's just really hard to decide what to start picking up and getting into. Basically, I'm just letting my instinct guide me at this point. I'm just grabbing the first thing that appeals to me, especially any palette that is inspiring me to deviate from the rut, the eyeshadow rut that I've been in for the last couple weeks. For some reason, we just can't get past a smoky wing lately. So I figured I owe it to you guys. Let's change it up. Let's do something a little bit more intricate, a little bit more detail oriented. And I figured what better palette to get into the paint with than something from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I'm very excited. This is the first thing I've ever purchased from the brand. So folks, today we are just going to do a first impressions of the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Lure palette. And if that sounds exciting to you, then keep on watching because we're gonna get started right now. So Blend Bunny Cosmetics' whole ethos, I believe, is pretty much just in the brand name itself. Pretty self-explanatory. This brand was started, I believe, to just give makeup artists what they want. Depth, vibrancy, and gradients. Each palette of theirs has been laid out pretty much exactly the same, just within different color stories. You know when you're working with a palette and your only gripe is that you wish there was more transition shades? Well, folks, have they got a solution for you. Basically, their whole deal is transition shades. So this is the first color story of theirs that has really appealed to me, and there's something incredibly satisfying about the deepest shades in this palette. The appeal of being able to whip this out, phrasing, and just go down a row. But of course, because these colors are really designed to coordinate together, there's probably room for jumping around and mixing and matching. So I still haven't decided what I want to do entirely. I know it's going to involve some sort of gradient, something involving a lot of depth, and probably something that involves more than one color. Listen, I've been keeping it pretty simple and stupid on the channel these days, and I know that you all deserve to see something a little bit more intricate, a little less user-friendly, if you will. I'm here to switch it up for you and to potentially just fail spectacularly on camera. I don't want to talk about it or plan ahead too much. I kind of just want to dive in head first and see what happens. So without further ado, let's zoom in. For my subscribers, I just want to know who had money on this one. I just want to know, are you taking bets? Just some beautiful packaging appreciation. I'm really excited to try this brand. I've seen them all over Instagram, and every time I see something from them, it is just so intriguing. I think we should just do a couple swatches of these shimmers because if you are anything like me, you're just curious to know. Pearl especially is looking mighty blinding. Holy shoot. And these are quite soft to the touch as well. It is so hard to capture these. They've got a lot of reflect to them. I had to dip in there a couple of times to get any opacity. I don't think any of them have much base to them, except possibly Folklore, that green shade. But Pearl is just stunning in person. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit of inspiration shape-wise from Victoria Scone. I've had one of her looks in my saved folder for a long time. I just love her drag so much. So I think I'm going to loosely base the shape off of that, but I think I'm gonna try and do a little bit more of a rainbow gradient just so that we can fit in as many colors as we can. After a lot of just staring at this palette off camera, I'm going to go with my gut. I think I'm gonna focus on these 3 rows and making a gradient out of them. Things may go horribly awry and we might have to problem solve on the fly. Let's just prime our eyelids, shall we? We can do that while we think a little bit more. Clearly there's just too much fun stuff to play with with here. Let's start on the inside of the crease with Jellyfish. I know some people like to build their gradients starting with the darkest shade, and maybe that's what this palette is designed for, and maybe I'm making a huge mistake starting with the pastels first. But you know what? Live and learn, right? Already loving this. A nice bright pastel with lots of concentration and color already. I'm gonna take that all the way down. Moving on, let's pick up Lost at Sea. You know, I'm really glad someone in this industry had the guts to do a dark mermaid palette. Listen, mermaids are horrifying. Has anyone ever thought of that? They lure people to their deaths at the bottom of the sea. I mean, what's more horrifying than that? This brand already living up to its namesake. You know, I'm not a pastel queen, I really am not, but it is nice to have to just start a blend going, you know? Let's move on to Seafoam. Oh, I'm so excited for this. It's so nice to start with a lighter color that basically just blends into nothing. Now let's take a clean brush and just go over all of these edges, really going for that blend. Moving on to the midtones, starting with Seductress. Saucy. All right, we're getting somewhere with that blend. It was taking a minute there. Purple is considered one of the harder shades to formulate, so, you know, keeping that in mind. Jumping right into Sea Nymph. These are some sassy shade names, I will tell you that. With the deeper tones, I'm finding that tapping, as opposed to swirling or swiping, is giving me much more success. Oh, and Sea Nymph is definitely doing a much better job at blending. Dipping back into the pastel just to maintain the gradient. All right, let's get into it. Let's move on to Mermaid Lagoon. That is such a nice kelpy green. It's gorgeous. Yeah, look at that. All right, the final blending stage. Here we go. Let's see what happens when we take it a little bit deeper. 332 meters deeper, to be exact. Oh, dipped that into the wrong shade. Hold on. We're just going to start from the center on this one. Hopefully it doesn't completely fuck us up. That is satisfying for sure. I can see it happening. And they don't have a clue. Oh, that had some fallout. That definitely had some kick up in the pan. For sure, we are excusing it because it's not on our face. All right, let's go back now into Tentacles. Major Ursula vibes, major Ursula vibes. Don't know what suddenly got us on a Disney kick, but here we are. Oh yeah, I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. Back into Seductress just for a minute. Okay, back into 332 meters. Back into Sea Nymph. This video is going to be a lot of me cutting together footage of me painstakingly blending eyeshadow. Last one, let's get into Uncharted. Great video game. Taking a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon and blending that edge. Somehow managed to get glitter all over my face. I don't know where that came from. Now we're just going to finish up the rest of the lower lash line here. The trickiest part of this whole operation is getting the gradient just right. And these really don't have any trouble layering on top of each other, so it's actually quite easy to go back and forth between all the shades and just perfect. All right, I think it's finally time to cut a crease. So I'm going to use my Glimmer Grasp for this, and we're taking a flat brush and going into it off the back of my hand, loading the brush up, and then we're just gonna start carving ourselves a little line. I'm gonna do something unprecedented. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I really want this shape to be crisp. I'm gonna start off the crease with a white shimmer just on the top. And so I believe Overdrive by Lethal Cosmetics is going to work really well for this. So we're doing it. We're cheating. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. Was not expecting it to work as well as it did, but damn. Moving on. Let's first dip into Charmed. Moving on to In a Bottle. This one has some really beautiful reflex in it. And finally, some Folklore, which has a lot of silver in the formula, so it's really hard to pick up the color on camera. Starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. I think we have to do it. I think we have to do some wing liner. Listen, I'm still me, so I might smoke it out, but I think the look calls for something dramatic.
A few moments later.
Aha, so there's a slight fly in the ointment. I don't have a black liquid liner at the studio, inexplicably. I think I discovered this in an earlier video and I just forgot, so I'm just gonna use the Epic Smoke liner. Let's just see what happens if I take Uncharted and start to pack that on top. I'm gonna follow suit with the rest of these shades. I will admit I did too much liner on the top here. I don't love how that looks. A lot of that's gonna be covered with lashes, so. Last thing I wanna do is create a new inner corner. I am winded. This is hard. Last thing I want to do before I hop off camera and try and attempt to do this on the other side, I want to test something out for myself because I couldn't resist. I saw it at London Drugs. I had to do it. You've seen it. You've heard of it. The telescopic lift mascara sweeping the nation for all of 5 seconds. It's already irrelevant, so we're just going to give it a try. The wand looks a bit like it could hurt me. I think I've got the wand the right way. Honestly, very hard to tell. All right, we're getting somewhere. Hard to see with all of this nonsense going on my eyelid. Honestly, both sides look the same to me, so I don't know, we're just gonna flip the brush and guess one side's a little longer than the other. I mean, yeah, sure. It's a mascara. It does what mascara does. Don't know what all the fuss was about. Jesus. You know what? Let's take a break. Let's regroup, do this all on the other side, maybe do a bit of cleanup. When we come back, hopefully, we will feel good enough about this to move on. See you in a bit. Other side is looking a bit jank, but she's done. It could definitely be better. Not my best work. Methinks I may have overpromised and underdelivered on this one. And I don't think it's any fault of the palette. I just am out of practice with this kind of eyeshadow. And so to me, none of it really looks quite right. Like, it's definitely not as polished as I would like it to be, but it's not the worst I've ever done. By the way, these lashes are Chemise by Kiss. They are a wonderful, really long, really fluffy, piecey lash that you can just buy at the drugstore, and they're great.
Kiss, if you could please just sponsor me. I love your product. Thank you.
Moving on with the rest of the face, we're just gonna kind of power through our blush and highlight. It's stuff we've seen before, but I do have a new lip combination to show you guys, and I think you're really gonna like it. So where I work, next door opened up this new place called UEL, which stands for Unity Excellence Legacy. It's there to support and uplift local Black-owned businesses, which is super cool. And they have a couple different lines of Black-owned beauty. And so the other day, I actually had to go to an opening night after work, and I wasn't really feeling the lip combination that I had brought with me. So I found this lip liner by Blaze Beauty. These guys are vegan and cruelty-free as well, if that is something you care about. And then of course, because I have no self-control, I decided I wanted to pick up a new matte lipstick to go with the lip liner because, I don't know, I was feeling a matte lip that day. I don't know what I'm thinking half the time, but actually I was really pleasantly surprised by this. So this brand's name is Queenfidence. Great portmanteau, first of all. And I believe these guys are actually based in Winnipeg. These guys are also vegan and cruelty-free. We'll get into this in a second. First things first, let's just finish off this cheek. Don't mind my hair, the cowlick is so aggressive today. It has really been a while since we've seen a matte lip on the channel, but we're just gonna go for it. This lip liner is in the color Graceful. It's not too waxy, even though the main ingredient I think is beeswax, but as you can see, it actually blends out really beautifully. Super pretty, right? Like a little bit rosy, a little bit nude. In an extremely out of character move, let's do a matte lip. How gorgeous is that color? The finish is truly, truly a velvet matte. And just because there already isn't enough glitter on my face, we're gonna do some more. Where's the Baileys? I think I need to finish this coffee with Baileys. All right, folks, that is the look all complete. I'm exhausted, I'm covered in glitter, and there was no Baileys in the house. So morale is low here at Madelaide Studios today. Listen, I thought I could do it. I thought I could go back to being the cut crease ass bitch that I see all over Instagram. I was like, I can do it again. Why am I so tired? Folks, I think the cost outweighed the benefit today. The cost being my energy and my sanity. I don't know, I thought I was into it. I thought I could get into it today. I'm just not into it. Like, I feel like I look like a clown in like a not good clown way. There is good clown and then there is bad clown. And I think today is bad clown. It's not the palette's fault, but this is an ambitious palette. That was my downfall today, was ambition. I flew too close to the sun. I don't think the look is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think actually it turned out the way I thought it would. My eyelids just feel so heavy and thick, caked on with layers of primer and eyeshadow. The blending felt like it was never gonna end. Is it really worth it? Is the payoff good enough? I don't know. Folks, you're gonna have to let me know. I'm so face blind by this point. I can't even stand looking at myself anymore. All right, let's talk about the palette. So I like the palette. It was really quite a challenge coming up with something that would showcase as many shades as humanly possible. Next time I dive into this one, I'm going to pare it way down, simplify, and just enjoy a monochromatic moment. I mean, listen, this neutrals row right here, plus Pearl was the most interesting shimmer out of the entire palette. These shimmers are beautiful, don't get me wrong, reflective, chocked full of glitter, and yeah, it's all over my face. And yes, we can gripe about that, but whatever. But was I blown away by these shimmers? No. Although I'm obsessed with how deep in tone you can get with this palette. I think more palettes should just really just dive into the deep end, you know? Just make darker shades. It's fun. It's also super useful. Makeup enthusiasts and makeup artists love
depth in tone.
This palette delivers on that. So I think that was my favorite thing about the palette today, in all honesty. Yeah, the pastels were fun and the bright tones were cute, but this is where the magic is, down here. And of course, it lives up to its namesake. The blend is great. This could have very easily turned into a colossal muddy mess, and it didn't. So that is a testament to this formula. All in all, pretty pleased with my first purchase with Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. Let me know if you want to see anything from this palette in the future. I mean, Daniel did have the suggestion today to do a palette bingo with this one, and I feel like that is so chaotic, it just might be hilarious enough to work. Taking a palette with such strong, lawful energy and just completely disregarding that, there's something very chaotic about that in a very entertaining and good way. So if you want to see that disaster, leave a comment down below. All right, I think that is it for me. I'm gonna take this clown face and go have a beer with my mom. I would love to know what you thought of this look today. I would love to know what you thought of the palette. Do you have this palette? Have you tried this palette? Have you tried anything from Blend Bunny Cosmetics? Leave a comment down below. Let's chat. With that, folks, I'm going to love you and leave you. But before I do, please let me rattle off the spiel to you. Here are the many ways you can help out this channel. You can give this video a huge thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of everything. You can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video is crucial to its success in the algorithm. So if you have a few spare seconds, please engage with this video. You can follow me on Instagram, and I will leave that right there. And with that, folks, please stay safe, wash your hands, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, I have to get on SkyTrain looking like this. Good.